Welcome again to the third session of Living Life to the Full. I want to check in with you just first before we start on this new session. Just how you get on with your plan from last week. And it's very important just to remember that if you didn't complete your plan, that's okay. Very often we will set like even New Year's resolutions, or we set plans to do things, and we maybe something happens, or we're just not in the mood, or we don't follow through. This course really is about looking at the times when those things do knock us back, and when we maybe have planned to do something, or life has took a different direction, and your plan that was in your head just didn't happen, or didn't go according to the way you wanted. And then what happens is we go into this type of thinking here, which says, why does everything always go wrong? And why does everything always go wrong for me? It's always me. So we all do this. If I turn to the first page of this wee book, there are some thoughts that are here, and these are common thoughts. I always say to people, these books weren't put together just for you or me. They were put together for the human race because it's a common practice that we beat ourselves up. So some of these thoughts are, nobody likes me. Everybody thinks I'm a loser. I always mess up. If I don't get this sorted out, I won't be able to cope. What's the point? Things never work out for me. And a big one down the bottom is, it's all my fault. So do these sound familiar to you? I know when I first looked at them, they sounded familiar to me. So these are what we call bad thoughts. So they're thoughts that have us feel bad. They make us feel useless, unworthy, hopeless, and they keep us in that low, depressed state. If we're already depressed and these thoughts come in, it can make us feel even lower. So today's a really good, I'm like putting my fist together, it's a really good session. This is a really good session for learning how to take on those thoughts and how to challenge them. And this is something that I have used in my life over this past few years, and it really, really works. So I want you, if you can, just to stick with this session. It can at times be a wee bit emotive or bring up stuff. If it does that for you, just take a break. Just press the pause button and just take a wee break and come back to it whenever you're ready, okay? It'll all depend on your participation in this session and going forward, the difference that this makes to your life. But this is a new technique that you're going to learn today to challenge those unhelpful thinking styles, okay, or those thoughts that have us feel bad. Great. So it's good that you've stayed with me so far and you haven't switched the button off. So we're going to take a look at different types of thoughts. So you've heard me say just there a second ago that we have unhelpful thinking styles. So today you're going to learn, or I'm going to introduce you to the different types of thinking styles that we have that have us feel unworthy or beat up or less than we know ourselves to be. So we're going to take a wee look at what these thoughts are. Okay, so the first one is, are you your own worst critic? So do you always seem to be beating yourself up about something? These types of thoughts will have you feel low, they'll have you feel guilty, they'll have you feel unworthy. When we beat ourselves up, I'm stupid, I'm useless, I should have known better, why did I do that? Bang your leg, oh, I've always been clumsy, I've been clumsy all my life. Everybody knows that. Those are the thoughts that kind of beat us up and make us feel bad about ourselves, okay? Second one, do you focus on the bad stuff as if you were looking at the world through darkened glasses? So these are the thoughts that will keep you awake at night. These are the thoughts that will have you ruminate over the one thing that you did wrong. That one thing you might have done 50 things good in the day, and that one thing that you did wrong or you said wrong, that goes over and over in your head. So that's us focusing on the bad stuff. Or you might say, oh, you know, I did okay, but, or I did this, but. So that's focusing on the bad stuff, okay? Those thoughts beat you up as well. Do you have a gloomy view of the future, expecting everything to turn out badly? So with this type of thought, this will stop us from doing stuff. Because if we think, well, there's no point, or what's the point, or you know what, I've tried talking to him before, or I've tried talking to her before, and nothing has worked. These are the things we have a gloomy view of the future. It's not going to matter. We expect things to be bad. Here in Northern Ireland, you might go to the shop and you say, oh, it's a beautiful day. And you generally find someone saying, oh, it's going to rain later on. Or will you say the snow's coming at the end of the week? So we have a kind of cultural thing where we do that, but we also have that thing inside where we're nearly expecting something to go wrong, even when we are feeling good. So that can be self-sabotage type of thought, all right? Next one, are you jumping to the worst conclusions? So this is called catastrophizing, where we imagine the absolute worst thing. If you remember on the first session, we talked about Emily getting lost in the shop, and automatically we catastrophize. We go to the absolute extreme. Something's happened to her, somebody's taken her, she's been abducted, We go into that absolute panic. So if you suffer from anxiety, general anxiety, we can end up in these catastrophizing thoughts. So they can come in very quickly at us, and a lot of them sometimes, all right? So it can be very overwhelming and send us into a state of panic when we're jumping to the worst conclusions, okay? Next one, do you assume that others see you badly? So this is called mind reading, and we don't know whether it's true or not, all right? So this is where we think, oh, do you know what? They're talking about me, or, you know, you see how she looked at me? They're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to think I've done this because of blah, blah, blah. And all those types of thoughts. One, we're mind reading, but two, we start to feel very paranoid. So we feel paranoid about other people or about places, and we think, no, if I do that, then they're going to think that. And very often, again, it will stop us from doing stuff. Next one, do you take responsibility for everything, even when it's not your fault? So as parents, we do this, we think, oh, you know, the child's misbehaving or playing up, must be my fault, must be something I did. Sometimes when we are with other people and they're in a bad mood, or their mood fluctuates up and down, we're thinking, right, it must be my fault, it must be my fault. And sometimes we take that back, we take that responsibility on that isn't our responsibility. The other thing is we take on responsibility for doing stuff for people, and it's not our responsibility. So again, if it's not done, we might be thinking, oh, it's my fault that that didn't go according to plan, or that didn't work out for them because I didn't do such and such. And these types of thoughts have us feel very guilty and overplaying stuff that maybe we did or we felt that we shouldn't have done. Okay, great. Very last one. Are you always saying things like shoulda, oughta, gotta, setting impossible tasks for yourself? So this is for the perfectionists among us. Where we set ourselves up, we set high standards, and we really want to achieve them. And it's great, it's absolutely great to have goals, but then sometimes we will look over things, and even if we've done something well, or we've done it to the best of our ability, we'll go, shoulda, woulda, coulda, should have done that better. At my age, I should know better. I would have done this if I really had a thought about that, or if I had a took time. And those are the things, again, make you feel guilty, make you feel like you're underachieving, or that, you know, you're not doing a job good enough. I'm not good enough, basically, it comes back down to, so we beat ourselves up again. So these are what we call our unhelpful thinking styles. And I know you're probably sitting there going, I have all of those. I do all of those things. And I want you to know that every human being does those things. We all do those things. Again, what we're doing with this program is trying to learn, okay, I do think like that, but how do I get out of that? How do I change that? How do I start to learn how to challenge these types of thoughts? Okay, so we are going to take a wee look now in the next section then as to how we do actually challenge those thoughts. Okay, so take a wee break, get yourself a cup of coffee or something, and come back as soon as you're ready to go on to the next session. Thank you.